You know how sometimes trying to figure out what's really important, what's actually cutting edge in pharmaceutical development feels like trying to catch smoke?
Oh, definitely. There's just so much going on, so many different avenues.
Right, and that's where a journal like Organic Process Research and Development, OPR&D, it really shines, doesn't it? Kind of acts like a filter.
It does. It highlights what's genuinely significant. And what's really smart is how they use these special feature
Ah,
sections.
yes.
They bring the most crucial advancements into really sharp focus. They give it like a curated map of the hottest areas.
Exactly, a map. I like that. So for you, our listener, this is kind of like getting a backstage pass, right?
Hmm.
We're diving into these special sections today to give you a clearer picture, maybe uncover some surprising trends getting serious attention.
And this isn't just our take. We're pulling this straight from OPR&D's own content,
Yeah.
looking at how they spotlight these new technologies and themes.
So these special sections, they're like a pulse check for the whole field.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. They tell us, what are the big problems people are tackling? What exciting solutions are emerging? Where's the real innovation happening?
Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. What's the actual purpose? Why create these special sections instead of just publishing papers normally?
Well, instead of having articles on, say, a breakthrough scattered across different issues over months or years.
Right, you have to hunt them down.
Exactly. These sections gather them all in one place. You get research papers, reviews, expert commentary, all focused on one really timely, important area.
Makes it much easier to get up to speed on something specific.
For sure. For researchers and, for anyone interested, it gives a solid understanding without all that searching.
And one area you mentioned that they really highlight is new technologies in process research. Sounds important, but maybe a bit broad. What kind of things fall under that umbrella?
Well, one of the biggest shifts, and OPRD has definitely flagged this, is the move towards continuous flow chemistry.
Continuous flow. Okay, so not the big vats we might picture.
Sort of, yeah. Instead of those large batch reactors, imagine ingredients flowing continuously, maybe through narrow tubes or channels. Plug flow reactors are a common example.
And the advantages?
Control, massive control. Every bit of the reaction mixture sees the exact same conditions: temperature, pressure, time.
Ah, okay. So you get more consistent results.
Much more consistent, much more predictable. It's like choreographing the molecules perfectly.
That sounds way more efficient. Have they showcased actual examples in the journal?
Oh, absolutely. Even back in 2012, there was research featured on developing and scaling up a key pharmaceutical intermediate, a 1H4-substituted imidazole, using these continuous plug flow reactors, showed how much faster it could be.
Faster development. Okay.
And another 2012 study detailed a continuous route for making an azole sulfonamide. Again, the emphasis was on, better efficiency, better control compared to batch methods.
So it's not just about speed then. Is there more to it?
Definitely not just speed. A 2015 article looked at a large-scale continuous flow process converting oximes into something called fused bicyclic isoxazolidines.
Right.
They framed that as a key example of process intensification.
Process intensification, meaning getting more out with less in?
Basically, yes. Doing more with smaller equipment, less energy, less waste. But maybe the most striking example was for synthesizing beta-histine. OPR&D covered that in 2021.
Beta histine. What was so special about that one?
It wasn't just faster. It was hugely better for the environment and, frankly, for the economics, too.
Really? Environmentally friendly. How did continuous flow help there?
Well, this specific process dramatically reduced the amount of raw materials needed.
Okay, less input.
And it completely eliminated the need for nasty organic solvents and hydrochloric acid.
Wow. Okay, that's significant.
Plus, it simplified the whole cleanup stage afterwards, used less alkali, and the total operation time was slashed. Massively reduced.
So less waste, less hazardous stuff.
Exactly. They calculated the process, mass intensity PMI it's called, basically waste generated per kilo of product. It was reduced by 50%.
50% reduction in waste. That's incredible. That's a genuine game changer.
It really is. It shows the potential for much greener pharmaceutical manufacturing.
Okay, so continuous flow is clearly a major focus in these new technology sections. What other kinds of new tech have they featured?
Another really interesting area is how we analyze the handedness of molecules, chirality.
Chirality. Left-handed versus right-handed molecules. Crucial in pharma, right?
Absolutely crucial, because the two mirror image forms, enantiomers, can have totally different effects. One might be the drug, the other inactive, or worse.
Or even harmful, yeah. So how is technology helping there?
OPR&D highlighted a technique called microwave three-wave mixing.
Microwave, three-wave mixing. Sounds complex.
It is pretty advanced,
Yeah.
but it offers a novel and potentially very precise way to measure that chirality, to distinguish between those mirror images. There were references to guides and applications from other journals showing it's a developing field.
Okay, so from huge process changes like flow chemistry down to incredibly fine details like measuring molecular handedness with microwaves, these sections cover a lot of ground.
They really do. It reflects the breadth of innovation in process research.
Now, the prompt also mentioned looking back, specifically mentioning sections planned for 2014. Even if we don't have the exact titles from that year, can we make some educated guesses? Based on recurring themes, what might have been hot topics back then?
That's a really good way to think about it. We can definitely infer likely topics based on what's consistently critical in pharmaceutical development.
Like what, for instance?
Well, crystallization and polymorphism, for starters.
Ah, how drugs form solids.
Exactly. How they crystallize, and the fact that the same drug can often crystallize into multiple different structures, that's polymorphism. It's always been hugely important. We've seen books and discussions on it over many years.
Because the crystal form affects how the drug actually performs in the body.
Absolutely. Think about carbon graphite versus diamond. Same element, totally different properties.
Right.
It's similar with drug polymorphs. Different forms can have different solubilities, different stability, which impacts everything from manufacturing to how well the drug gets absorbed.
So understanding and controlling that would definitely be a hot topic.
For sure. Especially as regulatory agencies were also sharpening their focus on solid-state properties around that time. QBD quality by design principles really emphasize understanding that variability. So, yeah, a special section on crystallization or polymorphism in 2014 seems highly likely.
Makes sense. What else was probably a big focus back then?
Impurity analysis is another strong candidate.
Finding the unwanted stuff.
Precisely. Ensuring drug purity is paramount for safety. There are handbooks dedicated to isolating and identifying impurities. We've discussed strategies for dealing with them.
Non-negotiable, really.
Totally. So, advancements in analytical techniques for detecting, identifying, and quantifying trace impurities, that would absolutely warrant a special feature section. It's a constant challenge.
Okay, crystallization, impurities. Any other likely contenders for 2014 hot topics?
Structure-activity relationships, SAR studies probably featured too.
SAR, figuring out how the molecule's shape relates to how well it works as a drug.
Exactly that. It's fundamental to drug discovery and development. We know techniques like SAR by NMR were being discussed. Applying SAR principles more effectively in process development, maybe linking structure to processability or stability, seems like a natural fit for OPR&D's focus.
Right. Connecting the molecule directly to how you make it efficiently and safely?
Yes, it bridges discovery and development.
So, okay, even without those exact 2014 titles, we see this pattern. Deep dives into really fundamental aspects. Physical form, purity, how the molecule works alongside these emerging innovative technologies like continuous flow.
Exactly. It shows that dynamic interplay. The field builds on core knowledge while constantly pushing the boundaries with new tools and approaches.
And the focus shifts over time, right?
Absolutely. Driven by new science, regulatory changes, industry needs, what was a major focus in 2014 might be more established now, making way for newer hot topics in today's special sections.
And that's the value for you, our listener. Keeping an eye on these OPR&D special features is like getting that shortcut, that curated view of the current challenges and, importantly, the opportunities.
Right. It helps you stay informed efficiently to grasp where the field is heading without reading literally every paper published.
Okay, so let's quickly recap. We've seen OPR&D uses these special feature sections to shine a spotlight on what's really buzzing in process chemistry. We looked closely at new technologies, especially the impact of continuous flow chemistry making things faster, greener, more controlled.
And things like advanced chiral analysis, using techniques like microwave three-wave mixing.
And we reasoned that back around 2014, core topics like crystallization and polymorphism, impurity analysis, and SAR studies were almost certainly getting that special feature treatment too.
It paints a picture of a field constantly evolving, but always grounded in fundamental principles. And it really highlights why OPR&D is such a key journal.
It definitely does. Thinking about all this rapid change, it makes you wonder, what emerging technologies do you think might be the focus for OPR&D's special features in the near future?
That's a great question. Maybe AI and process design, or advancements in biocatalysis.
Or maybe how the huge push for sustainability will shape the next wave of hot topics in process R&D. Lots to think about.
Indeed. And whatever they are, they'll be driving how we create the next generation of medicines.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. If you want to explore these areas further yourself, definitely check out Organic Process Research and Development.
It's a fantastic resource.
Until next time.